Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for lunch. So what I would like to talk about is cloud and its business impacts, and obviously what IBM does for you to leverage the tremendous transformative power of cloud. So my role at IBM is I'm in charge of software development tools. So I'm the person driving DevOps at IBM, and obviously cloud and DevOps are two sides of the same coin. So I will talk about what cloud does for developers, but also for the other roles, for business leaders and for IT managers. So let's look at what's happening around us. And I think virtually everybody at this conference or any conference that talks about technology and technology disruptors will notice the tremendous market shifts that we are seeing in the digital economy. Personalized computing, mobile using cloud. There's been a study that says that on average, an enterprise today uses about 500 cloud-based applications, many of them used through mobile devices. Shift towards unbundling of business offerings. Right? We've interviewed thousands of business leaders, and the majority, more than 60% of them, say that they expect near-term disruption. And they expect disruption from players that they don't even know. Right? Some of the previous speakers talked about the lowering of the barrier to entry to new businesses. Shift towards killer apps that may have started very small and then suddenly grow. Without the flexible access to resources that a cloud provides, but also without the client access, the user access that cloud-based delivery provides, this would not be possible. So what does it mean for enterprises? And as you know, IBM has been in the business of serving enterprises and people working in enterprises for more than 100 years. It does mean that our businesses themselves change. They have to be composable. Now, when you think back the last 10 years, we've really talked about composing services a lot, right? All of us here, I think at some point in time, have been engaged in service-oriented architectures and business integration. That's actually one of the areas where I started in at IBM. But now, with cloud, this notion becomes much, much more powerful, essentially leading to API economies. So composable businesses restlessly reinventing, recomposing, innovating business processes and services, extending and shrinking what we deliver ourselves and what we consume through and with partners in our value chain, making better decisions with real-time actionable insights, accelerating time to market. Cloud really changes everything. Cloud introduces speed into businesses. And it introduces the need to integrate between various clouds and what you find in the enterprise. So we think about this as systems of record, transactional systems, back-end systems, coming together with systems of engagement, systems that touch clients directly, mobile devices, Internet of Things, coming together to allow data-driven insights, to allow integration of services in a spectrum not known before, and to drive new business opportunities. We reckon that by 2015, 70% of enterprises, meaning most of you here in this room, will pursue hybrid cloud computing. Right? Bringing together systems of record, transactional systems, systems of engagement. And these systems, bringing them together, actually pose a challenge for IT organizations. They pose a challenge of, on the one hand, optimization, risk management in the systems of record, and driving fast experimentation in market in the systems of engagement. And this speed up of feedback loops is, in my mind, the essence of cloud-enabled DevOps. Speed of delivery, speed of feedback, speed of experimentation, speed of optimization. So let's look at what these composable businesses actually mean for our roles, whether we are business leaders, developers, or IT leaders. Now, most of us know that and experience daily that a lot of the decision-making actually shifts towards the line of businesses. So as one example, the CMO needs to engage new customers, lead the business towards customer centricity, and increasingly drives investments in applications, services that enable that in a flexible way. So a lot of that drives a shift to cloud. IT leaders, cloud infrastructure managers need to support the provisioning of cloud applications that can scale rapidly and the integration of these systems with backends. Now, in the end, of course, every innovation runs through the hand of developers. So cloud developers need to be able to not just develop new applications from scratch, but to very quickly reuse existing services by accessing their APIs. That's when we talk about an API economy. In a sense, service-oriented architectures supercharged by the cloud. Service-oriented architectures on steroids. So, cloud changing the way that business leaders, IT leaders, developers interact, and that's not even restricted to a single company. On our cloud, we have SIs that actually use system integrators that use the cloud for interaction between their development teams and the people they are working for. So cloud as an element of enabling transparent collaboration. So, in short, changing the way that work gets done and how IT is delivered, how software-driven innovation is delivered. So, from the point of view of an IT manager, hybrid environments, and the challenge of managing them, driving towards self-optimization. So choice and guidance of what gets deployed where and how it interacts. A developer needs a robust platform for service composition. Remember, I talked about reuse just a minute ago for service composition, and quite frankly, a marketplace of service components that they can reuse and reassemble from. And business leaders need choices of business applications. So biz, dev, and ops all expect enablement from clouds. Now, we at IBM are creating a new buying experience for cloud services. Biz, dev, and ops to learn, try, and buy cloud-based services. It's all hosted on our infrastructure cloud, SoftLayer, which is one of the sponsors of this conference, but it addresses all layers: infrastructure, platform, software, solutions as services, and services not just from IBM, but from third parties offered side by side. more choice for you, but both as a buyer, but potentially also as a provider of services. So we currently have more than 200 IBM and third-party software and services leveraging our ecosystem, some of these services being community sourced, coming from open source. I think many of you have heard many of the vendors here talking about the tremendous power that open standards and open source have for creating ecosystems. And we are leveraging this through support and use of open standards and open source like OpenStack and the emerging hot and heat orchestration capabilities on top of that, but also through Cloud Foundry, which underpins our platform as a service, our cloud platform, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So I'd like to talk now about the offerings for the different roles, essentially layering them from infrastructure as a service and the IT manager perspective to platform as a service and the developer perspective, which I'm going to major on, and then, of course, the business perspective. And again, we offer a variety, a spectrum of consumption capabilities here, whether it's private or virtual private or public or hybrid, any kind of combination. As I think everybody now in the industry agrees, almost everybody in the industry agrees, the future is indeed hybrid. So composable business needs a composable infrastructure. We sometimes talk about this as a software-defined environment because it's really accessing resources through APIs. You can have it either fully or partially or minimally managed, private, public, hybrid. Choice of geographic locations. We are greatly expanding our presence. We have separate networks connecting our cloud data centers, and we offer a selection of managed services. So depth of service, ease of use, choice of level of management, whether it is infrastructure, cloud, soft layer, either bare metal or dedicated virtual or shared virtual, depending on your workload. Depending on your workload, and everything as easily accessible as a simple click. Or you can choose cloud managed services with choice of industry standards, choice of certifications, and so on, shared virtual or managed virtual. So we believe that soft layer offers the greatest choice available. It does not assume that all resources are virtualized. Virtualization is a choice with a flexible set of options, but if you need bare metal performance, like with certain data-intensive applications, you can have it. We don't assume that you want to share resources with everyone. They can be shared, they can be dedicated, they can be mixed. And they are all secured to the level that you need and want. So we have a global, interconnected, high-speed infrastructure enabling enterprise-grade, best-in-class performance and reliability. Unique capabilities that allow web applications to run significantly faster than other choices at lower price and better price performance. For deep analytics, same story. Message delivery, the same story. Dedicated networks, full flexibility, differentiation in terms of security. the level of control that you want, and everything accessed through APIs. That is actually the secret sauce that drove our interest in SoftLayer, the structure in which they have created truly of infrastructure as a flexible, managed collection of API addressable services. We are investing more than $1 billion in new cloud resources to significantly expand the SoftLayer presence to 40 data centers worldwide in 15 countries, 5 continents, meeting clients, meeting your clients wherever you need access with the kind of control on data, on access, on security that you need. And IBM has invested over the past years significantly in enhanced security capabilities. So cloud identity and access management, workload threat protection, hybrid cloud security insight, driven by the security intelligence that our Q1 Labs acquisition, which we did almost 2 years ago, brings to the table here. So SoftLayer combined with our security expertise and portfolio can help you adopt cloud with confidence. And as we heard in one of the earlier presentations, security in the cloud, of course, is a combination of the practices and tools a trusted provider gives you, but also your own responsibility for inside security. But we can help you manage, partition off the assets that you have in the cloud in such a way that you can really control security very, very tightly. So SoftLayer has a very broad spectrum of clients, from, shall we say, traditional economy clients to born-on-the-web clients, like Hulu, supporting real-time gamer demand and product development. By the way, SoftLayer supports more than 130 million gamers today. So some of the biggest gaming properties in the world run on SoftLayer. Or enterprises moving to the cloud, enabling new business models. So Loft Group is a digital agency, a boutique digital agency, and they reckon that by moving to cloud and utilizing SoftLayer, they compressed their business transformation timeline from, well, what they said, 3 to 5 years to months. And I think that's a phenomenon that you'll hear a lot about in this conference, irrespective of who provides the cloud services to you. The ability to very quickly run experiments on the cloud and get immediate feedback, and applying lean startup principles, applying DevOps, doing A and A/B testing, very quickly adjust and pivot your offerings to what you'll begin to understand or understand better about the market demand and the market evolution. And finally, one of the tracks here is Internet of Things, and the Internet of Things, the connection of devices. We estimate that there will be more than 200 billion connected intelligent devices by 2020. So you can imagine what kind of infrastructure will be needed to assemble, to aggregate the data from these devices, and to actually provide real-time insights. So Technicolor is using SoftLayer to provide an infrastructure for managing large, complex workloads for millions of devices. And again, that is expanding. Actually, we have some very leading players in the Internet of Things and connected cars, like Continental from Germany, but an international car electronics provider already using SoftLayer and the DevOps services on top of SoftLayer to build solutions for connected cars. So you can see how cloud, even at the infrastructure layer, provides the flexibility for rapid expansion and rapid adaptation of business models and business solutions. So let me now talk about the platform solutions. We've created, based on Cloud Foundry, a cloud platform that we call Bluemix. At our Innovate DevOps and Continuous Engineering conference a week ago, we announced that by the end of June, we will go GA, meaning that we believe we've achieved enough robustness and scale to invite even more clients onto Bluemix. But so far, more than 20,000 apps have been developed on Bluemix, and we have dozens of clients that are actually already using it in production, in particular software providers, system integrators, and so on. So cloud clearly is all about developers. And in many instances, developers are now more and more about cloud. So providing access to services that were not easily available before, that you had to download, that you had to assemble, Googling many things. Launching new initiatives to directly engage clients, getting immediate feedback, right? I mean, the faster you get to feedback, the earlier you can improve and grow. Ability to access data, enable transactions between systems of record and systems of engagement. That was one of the design points here. So addressing the challenges, the opportunities, but also the concerns that traditional approaches to software development often raise. When I talk to C-level executives, what I hear mostly is the concern about what is happening to their delivery organizations as delivery cycles compress, right? We have to deliver a mobile application in weeks or maybe even days instead of months. We have to be able to react to feedback very quickly. So about a year ago, I heard an anecdote from a friend of mine that is in charge of application development for a major bank in Europe. And he told me that when they put out their first mobile app, the whole, admittedly rather small country erupted in laughter. So they had to change that app in the next weekend, which certainly broke their delivery processes. So what I find coming up as problems is change management. Right, you see the quote here, I have 250 open change requests with business value I need to deliver. I need to experiment faster. Problem one, problem two, integration and integration testing. So I have more services on and off cloud that I now need to integrate and test. And I have technologies from all kinds of sources that I need to integrate. And by the way, I need to not only test continuously and integrate continuously, I also need to deploy much faster. And I'm sure many of us here have been in, release fests and other interesting undertakings that can spoil not just a weekend, but actually spoil a business plan if they fail. So Bluemix is our approach to a composable services development environment. To run your apps, choosing your language runtime or bringing your own, upload your code and go. You bring the code, we provide the rest. DevOps, development, monitoring, deployment, logging, testing, change management, extending SaaS applications, drop in a SaaS app SDKs and extend to new use cases, APIs and services, and again, cloud integration. We've actually moved our cast iron, WebSphere cast iron services to the cloud for this. So bridging development and operations for continuous delivery, for continuous experimentation, for continuous feedback. That's essentially the spirit of DevOps in the cloud. Fast feedback, continuous optimization, driving faster reaction to changes, anticipating opportunities, driving better business outcomes. So we provide capabilities for agile planning. We provide an Eclipse Orion-based IDE. So again, open source that we've contributed a lot to over the years and actually founded. Continuous integration, expansions to Jenkins, the ability to use Git or our Jazz repository. This is actually all the underpinnings is the Jazz technology that IBM has built over the past 5-6 years. Automated deployment, one-click deployment. We are in the process of releasing multi-stage deployment and monitoring and analytics, because in the end you need to close the feedback loop, right? Application performance monitoring in the cloud. So very, very quickly scalable for development and production, but also patterns, access to deployment patterns that we actually lifted from our integrated Pure systems into the cloud. If you want to deploy to known, well understood middleware patterns that you know have certain availability or scalability characteristics. So DevOps is essential, and DevOps is central to the architecture of the Bluemix platform. And cloud does need DevOps. Nothing accelerates development needs as much as mobile, cloud, and analytics coming together. So we see DevOps as an enterprise capability. It's not just a set of tools or a set of rules. It is a fundamental transformation of how an enterprise delivers in a mobile-first, cloud-centric world, creating an ability to very quickly seize market opportunities and reduce time to customer feedback. Again, in this business environment, it's all about speed and feedback. Speed and feedback. So cloud and DevOps. Accelerating software delivery, balancing speed, cost, quality, and risk. You cannot actually take shortcuts, right? First of all, failure becomes very visible in the cloud, and you get feedback very quickly through mobile devices at any time. But also just think about the Internet of Things and how much is at stake, right? So at our conference a week ago, BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transport System, demonstrated how they are using mobile cloud-supported applications to actually control maintenance of their trains, right? There's something very significant at stake here, right? The physical world and the world of people is very clearly coming together in the cloud, right? The Internet of Things is really just the cloud involving people and things. So balancing speed, cost, quality, and risk, reducing time to customer feedback. That is the mantra. And there are really 4 entry points to this. There's steering, and you all remember, I'm sure, the need for agile steering. There's development and test, collaborative development, continuous integration and test. There's deployment, continuous deployment, and there is operations and the feedback loop that operations enables. So standards, practices, ecosystems, bringing it all together. And our clients have measurable outcomes with DevOps, especially when DevOps is combined with cloud. I'll give you just 3 examples that a business partner actually provides through DevOps services on Bluemix, through 3 clients from very different industries. H.H. Gregg, retailer, home appliances retailer, like any retailer, tremendous holiday pressures, aggressive timelines. They by using the cloud as a development environment, but also as a collaboration and communication environment, our business partner, PointSource, enabled a compression of time from kickoff to prototype, 1 week. I mean, that is really cloud speed. And 3 months to first-in-kind solution, and a solution that has actually already been deployed and stood the test of the first big retail rush, which of course would not have been possible without the expansion capabilities, the flexibilities that you find in a cloud infrastructure. FIMC, increased customer renewals, cloud-based continuous delivery, much better and improved team collaboration across multiple organizations. Finally, Allstate reduced dealership sign-up time from up to 90 days to under 2 hours. Right? That's the kind of speed that you need if you remember the economic shifts that we all live every day, and that our enterprises, that the businesses we work for and with and in see every day. So what we see here is also, again, the ability to drive truly lean and agile development when using the cloud, because the main principle of agile as focus on feedback through working code, actually working code in production or in production-like environments, if you want to extend it with a little bit of DevOps concepts, that is something that truly needs a cloud, or that certainly gets accelerated and enabled tremendously by cloud. So cloud as an element that removes barriers and removes friction. So 3 examples, a business partner, actually a rather small business partner, using the Bluemix DevOps services hosted on SoftLayer in production way before we've declared general availability. But I guess that is also one of the features of the cloud world, that the term general availability actually gets replaced by continuous delivery of new and enhanced services for immediate feedback. So growing ecosystem of partner services on Bluemix, MongoDB, Twilio, NuoDB, and so on and so on. So you see, we are very, very open here by choosing the Cloud Foundry infrastructure, the Cloud Foundry standards and interfaces. We've enabled essentially an industry ecosystem, and we are committed to continuing to push standards for cloud interoperability, for interoperability of services, for DevOps. Actually, one of the standards that we've been pushing for tools integration is based on internet integration principles. It's based on the notion that you don't export and import like, in the old world. You actually point to information with a URL. This standard is called linked data. It's now become a standardization effort in the W3C. And the interfaces we call open services for lifecycle collaboration. And they have begun to get great acceptance, building an ecosystem. We have started. We are in full process of standardization through OASIS. So again, cloud, you see the two elements coming together, cloud enabling ecosystems and open standards. On the other hand, clouds really depending for an expanded, accelerated ecosystem growth on open standards and open source. Now, this in the end is all about developers, and we are focusing our cloud on developers and on developer ecosystems. Perhaps some of you are already members or occasional users of DeveloperWorks. We have more than 4 million members, more than 4 million people that visit DeveloperWorks regularly, month after month. We have more than 100 university partnerships in 20 countries. Increasingly focusing on cloud, on Bluemix. We have more than 1,000 startups in our global entrepreneurship program. We have 43 innovation centers worldwide, in a sense, provide the footprint on Earth for the cloud, hosting more than 3,000 events backed up by the cloud. And we are partnering with Galvanize in a concept that I personally find very intriguing, the Bluemix Garage, to put our experts and our capabilities, our resources in the center of thriving entrepreneurial communities, virtual garages in many areas where startups thrive. So developer communities, university relationships, standards bodies, all of this coming together to give additional momentum to our drive into the cloud. Because again, we believe that cloud is almost synonymous with developer ecosystems. Now, I've given you a glimpse of how we believe cloud platforms are going to evolve. And when I say IBM Next Generation Cloud Platform, it represents our perspective on how we believe cloud services in the various layers and in the various layers together are going to evolve. But quite frankly, we just believe we are expressing here where the community is moving, where the industry is moving. So infrastructure is increasingly going to become cloud, software-defined environments, workload definition, optimization, orchestration through APIs, increasingly standards-based. We are driving and supporting the OpenStack standards and their evolution into orchestration standards. In the middle layer, it's all about the developer, right? It's all about integrated DevOps. It's about cloud operating environment as an orchestration and assembly environment for services. So APIs, marketplaces, capabilities to script together, to assemble, to reassemble, to transform services, integrating security, obviously, integrating data, mobile operations, and so on. And on top of that, a marketplace of cloud services offerings. So tremendous opportunities, tremendous business opportunities. If you are in the business of providing cloud services, I think now is really a great time to be a developer, because you can draw on cloud infrastructures, you can draw on cloud APIs, you can draw on cloud standards, and the communities that provide input, that provide services, that enable you to assemble services and reuse patterns. Reuse, in other words, canned experience. So that's how we believe the cloud is going to move forward. So cloud is about speed. Today's business and IT leaders can't wait to innovate. We can't wait to innovate. And we don't have to, because we can experiment in the cloud with rapid feedback. And we are, at IBM, committed to being part of that movement, to help drive that movement so that you can confidently realize the benefits of cloud. So thinking it, strategizing it, developing a cloud strategy, building it, or just simply tapping into it. So speed, empowerment, economics. That's the three words that sum up cloud for us. Thank you very much. Okay, if there are any questions, I think we still have a few minutes.
Thank you. We have time for one or two more questions. Anyone?
On the issue of integration, which is an important issue, obviously, on SQL and non-SQL databases, does IBM have an integration platform for SQL, relational, and non-SQL? Do you have a platform for that and a solution?
Well, we acquired Cloudant, which provides.
Sorry?
We acquired Cloudant, which provides NoSQL database solution.
Relational and non-relational integration, not separately.
Well, how would you integrate it other than through services and APIs?
From the application, I mean, the relational is a mismatch intentionally for managing corporate data. But then you have other documents that are not corporate.
Right.
Significant, but the application might want to look at both places and use them, right, in the application. So you need.
Well, quite frankly, this is more about the choices of your application infrastructure and the application architecture than about an integration platform. But I think we should maybe talk about this offline, because I'd be really interested in understanding what scenarios you have in mind, right? I mean, quite obviously, we see applications using one and the other for different purposes, and we see them interacting in loosely coupled ways, but that's a very standard approach for integrating, probably not what you meant. So we'll take it offline.
Okay, any other questions? Oh, okay, let me grab it. You over here.
Databases that you are allowing it to be integrated in your system?
Well, it depends on whether on-premise or off-premise. The services that we provide through IBM in the cloud, in our cloud itself, are currently, based on DB2 and similar IBM functions. But it's SQL database. We also provide MongoDB as a NoSQL database. We provide Cloudant as an IBM-owned now NoSQL database. We know that our clients, if they're using SoftLayer directly, are using many databases. They're using Oracle, they're using Microsoft, and so on. So,
those are integrated through the API?
No, those are essentially services that you would bring to the cloud yourself. The database, I mean, it's just we provide the middleware services in the Bluemix services. And clearly, at some point in time, open source or some other providers may wish to offer them on Bluemix as well.
Okay, great. I think that is it for questions. Thank you so much, Kristof.
Thank you.